All right. Stage number 5. This is the preview. So we know about the results. You guys saw the results show talking about the stage 4 results. Now we're working our way into stage 5. We're working our way even closer to the halfway point of the rally. And so this is going to be the second test for these guys on the marathon stage. A little bit more open for them because now they're going to be racing towards their team where the bike will have basically, I'm sure, a complete rebuild. The vehicles will get a much more detailed service on them, make repairs from any damage throughout the stages, both stage 4 and stage 5. So this is going to be crucial. Time to make up time, but also a time where if the bike was injured, if the vehicle was injured in stage 4, this could be basically the nail in the coffin for the car. We could see more retirements on this one, but we'll see. It doesn't look, I read the course description. We'll talk about that in just a sec. The course does not look like it's going to be that rough. But even as we found out in the previous stage, you have something as simple as a rock or tree root hidden in the sand in the shadows, and that was enough to send a few riders over the bars and end 1 or 2 rallies as well for riders. So always have to watch out, can't let the guard down. Let's talk about it. Let's get the graphic up on the screen so you guys can see it. And what we are talking about, as usual, we're going to start top left corner. We've got 7-11 sunrise, 17:35 sunset. That's 5:35 p.m. local time. Well, they're on military time, so 17:35. Stage breakdown, Refuge Marathon 1 to Hail is going to be 0% asphalt, dirt track of 58%, sand is going to be 35%, dunes 0%. We have not seen a dunes section yet. Sandy sections, but nothing enough to trigger even a 1% on the dunes column. Stoned track 7%. And as we learned, stoned track does not mean gravel roads. The competitors found that out in stage number 2 as they headed out of town and working their way north. Let's see here. So road section A, 4 kilometers, meaning from the bivouac or the refuge to the start of the stage is only 4 kilometers. To give you guys roughly is 1 kilometer is 0.62 of a mile. So we should see some really quick transit times on there. I mean, that's not here nor there. That's only a place to lose time. You're not going to make up time in a transit stage. You could get penalized for speeding. You could get penalized for showing up late. So there's a few things. So you got to watch out because it'll cost you time. It won't get you time. Selective section is going to be 356 kilometers for the bikes. And it looks like 371 for the vehicles. Again, the bikes and the vehicles on 2 separate tracks again this time. So a little bit longer of a stage for the vehicles, a little shorter for the bikes. 54 kilometers once they finish the stage is going to get them to the bivouac for a grand total of 414 kilometers. So should be a relatively fast stage. I feel like the stage times again have been in the high 3 hours to mid to late 4 hour stage ranges for the top guys. Obviously, as you get further down the list, stage times do get a bit longer. But par for the course. Okay, let's take a look. All right, so we've got that out of the way. Let's talk a little bit about fuel. Fueling, of course, they filled up yesterday at the finish line of the stage, mandatory fill-ups, and then went to the bivouac or the refuge. And then from the refuge, they're going to have to make it all the way out to kilometer 140 where the neutralization is going to be. And that's where both tracks cross in an intersection at that neutralization. So both vehicles and motorcycles are going to be getting fueled at that. That's kilometer 140 for the 140 for vehicles, 125 for looks like for the bikes. So let's take a look here. They are going to get another fuel stop roughly at 124 kilometers later, which is going to be neutralization number 2. You do have 2 CPs already. You've got one at kilometer 100 for the bikes, and then another one, and then at 117 for the vehicles. That's your first checkpoint. Checkpoint 2, CP2 is going to be, control point 2 is going to be at 236 for the bikes, and then 239 for the vehicles. You've got another CP3, so stacked on the control points, 4 of them total for this stage. You've got the third one at kilometer 253 for the bikes, 257 for the vehicles. And then another neutralization is going to be at 264/270. And then this is an interesting part here. There is going to be a section, and they highlighted where both the vehicles and the bikes are on the same path. So if you're looking between section or control point 3 and 4, after the second neutralization on screen on the map, you could see where the line goes yellow and then it alternates between yellow and blue. That is the common section. So that means both bikes and vehicles are on that same section. And then they're moving through to check 4 or control point 4 at kilometer 321 or 326. And then they arrive finally at the arrive selective section. So a little bit longer of a day. Doesn't look too bad, too windy. It looks pretty direct. We'll go over the stage description here in just a minute. So first vehicle, first bike. First bike leaves the bivouac at 7:15 a.m. and it is scheduled to take the green flag at 7:30 a.m. Local time. That's going to be 8:30 p.m. for us. 7:15, so 8:15 p.m. They will leave the bivouac here on Western Pacific time. So we're a little confused. Coffee's now wearing off. FIA 7:45. So first vehicle leaves the bivouac at 7:45 a.m. That's going to be 8:45 p.m. here on the West Coast, and is scheduled to take the green flag at 8 a.m. local time. That's going to be 9 p.m. here for us on the West Coast. So very interesting to see how this stage shakes loose. We just talked about it. There's a lot that can happen if the vehicles or the bikes were hurt in stage number 4 and they were just patched together and held together the best they could. We'll see what that looks like coming up here. Okay, let's take a look at the description and the breakdown from the organization. General information. Let's see here. It looks from the start to kilometer 19 for the bikes. Very fast sandy tracks on an open plateau. Kilometer 19 to 75. Poor tracks, much slower, alternating with high points. Very soft wadi climb before returning to sandy tracks. There are many stony sections, so it looks like you're transitioning between rocks and sand, rocks and sand. This is the dangerous part. We talked about that root or rock that was buried in the sand. This is where you find those. If they're talking about this stuff, riders are going to have to be really careful. Those are the ones. Tasha Sharena already figured it out, ended up on the ground after hitting that one. Got very lucky there with the trees to the right of them, but obviously a couple other guys did not get so lucky. So really, I hope you bought a lottery ticket after that. All right, kilometer 19 to 75, that was that. Then kilometers 75 to 140. Track improves on their way to CP1, control point 1. Navigation is important with many waypoints up to the neutralization. So tricky navigation. Kilometer 140 to kilometer 240, the next 100 kilometers. Tracks remain fast, crossing wide valleys with wadi descent, occasionally slowing the pace until they get to control point 2. From kilometer 240 to 296, the track opens onto a plateau with some high points, open terrain with some camel grass. Camel grass is another gotcha. Control point 2 and neutralization, as well as a short section on the asphalt. So not even enough to put a percentage point up there. DZ, FZ are very numerous, vigilance required. That right there is the first time I see it in the stage description. To give you an idea, DZ, depart, these are depart and finish speed zones. Speed zones are another great way to stack up penalty time. It takes not even a kilometer over to get through and basically cost yourself some major time. And penalties can vary. If there are continuous or numerous penalties, it could even lead to literally having to pay a fine for the event. So you have to be very, very careful on that one. Some of these speed zones can jump out of nowhere, especially if you're not paying attention in the road book. You could literally drive right into one of these speed zones doing, well over the speed limit. And the range for you to get caught up and make sure that you get the bike under control or the vehicle under control is not very forgiving at all. So it's very easy to rack up a speed zone penalty and not even know it. So looking from there, we've got kilometer 296 to kilometer 336, deteriorated stony track with many hazards. And then on to the finish from kilometer 336 to the finish. Faster track, but complicated navigation with many tracks and some isolated hazards. So that should be interesting. That, again, is for the motorcycles. Pretty much the same for the vehicles, except towards the end. It looks like from 270 to 297, the tracks alternate between smooth and stony sections. Navigation remains tricky. Speed zones become more frequent at the end of the sector. So again, they're warning them, watch out for these speed zones. We could see some speed zone penalties for the guys. I don't think so much for the top guys. They're usually pretty good about it, but I would expect to see further down the list some people getting caught out on speed zones without even realizing it. So let's take a look further down. That's pretty much it on the stage briefing on that one. So we'll see. What do you guys think? Are we going to see some more retirements? Hopefully not. What do we think podium-wise? Are we going to get another Honda podium? I don't know. Remains to be seen. But with that being said, enjoy the stage. We'll be with you guys on the results for stage number 5 tomorrow morning, and we'll see what happens. See ya.